I apologize for being late. There's a little misunderstanding on my part about the schedule. To err is human, to forgive is divine. So thank you for your hope for forgiveness. Hit the lights. Definitely. Okay, that's going to work. Okay, now turn the lights back on. Oh yes, there is a method to the madness. We're going to read something first. Thank you. Hey Govinda. What's the schedule tonight? Anyone know for sure? Okay. You want to read it for the
So the schedule for tonight is 5:30 p.m. is the Kartik and Kirtan. 6 o'clock p.m. is the Abhishek and Kirtan. 6:30 is a discourse about Govardhan Puja. 7:15 is a Govardhan Puja and Parikram. And then 7:45 p.m. is the Prasadam feast.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now let's see if we follow it. The actual Govardhan Puja is tomorrow. But because we're doing the public ceremony today, we'll just roll with that. So this is a verse from the 10th canto, chapter 21, text 18. Of all the devotees, this Govardhan Hill is the best. O my friends, this hill supplies Krishna and Balaram, along with their calves, cows, and cowherd friends, with all kinds of necessities: water for drinking, very soft grass, caves, fruits, flowers, and vegetables. In this way, the hill offers respects to the Lord. Being touched by the lotus feet of Krishna and Balaram, Govardhan Hill appears very jubilant. And the purport is actually from the Prabhupada's Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 1834. Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur explains the opulence of Govardhan Hill as follows. Paniya refers to fragrant, cool water from Govardhan's waterfalls, which Krishna and Balaram drink and use to wash their feet and mouths. Govardhan also offers other beverages such as honey, mango juice, and pilu juice. Suvasya indicates durva grass used to make the religious offerings of Arghya. Govardhan also has grass that is fragrant, soft, and conducive to very strong growth of cows and increased milk production. Thus, this grass was used for feeding the transcendental herds. It's also said that this Mother Yasoda has special grass from Govardhan Hill that she feeds the special cows. We put this thing on with a vice grip. There you go. Because then it produces special milk. And that milk produces special ghee and sweets and yogurt, which in turn is intended by Mother Yasoda to keep Krishna from stealing these things from other people's houses. She was worried about his delinquent tendencies, so she wanted to make sure he grew up properly. It's said that Krishna steals from other people's houses, he steals the gopis' clothing, and he also steals everyone's heart. He's all attractive, Krishna. Okay. Thus the grass is used for feeding the transcendental herds. Gandhara refers to the caves where Krishna, Balaram, and their friends play, sit, and lie down. These caves give pleasure when the weather is too hot or too cold or when it's raining. Govardhan Prabhupada said that in Vrindavan it can be daytime and nighttime, it can be sunny and raining simultaneously. Wrap your mind around that. Time, what is it? Time, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, time is conspicuous by its absence. And yet there's the passage of time. That's transcendental. These, that we said. Govardhan also features soft roots for eating, jewels for ornamenting the body, flat places for sitting, and lamps and mirrors in the form of smooth stones, glistening water, and other natural substances. Now, this is from the Garga Samhita, and it's King Bahulasva is asking questions, and Narada Muni is answering in this section. What are the benefits of circumambulating Govardhan Hill? Because after all, we're going to do parikram around Govardhan Hill this evening. Benedictions. So many tirthas, holy places on Govardhan Hill. All holy places throughout India have their place in Govardhan Hill. Just like there's a Badrinath. It's a whole story. And by circumambulating Govardhan Hill, you get the benefit of visiting all the holy tirthas anywhere. You can attain Goloka. You gain the four-handed form of Narayan, Swarup Siddhi. You never fall from Gokula. Let that be noted. Goloka, never fall from Goloka. All success, material and spiritual. The four corners of Govardhan are the Chatur Dhams, Rameshwaram, Badrinath, Dwarka, and Jagannath Puri. Srinathji is on the top of the... Srinathji, as the Gopal deity, is eternally on top of Govardhan Hill. So you're also, Madhavendra Puri's Gopal, the beloved of the Gujaratis, Srinathji, you're circumambulating him. Free from taking birth again, benefiting of all the holy mountains, Kedarnath, Kailash, Badrinath, all by circumambulating Govardhan Hill. You receive the result of perfection in pious deeds, austerity, yoga, and knowing all of the Vedas. Here's an example. This is quoted by Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur. There was a pilgrim visited Govardhan, and he kept a Govardhan Shila in his pocket. He was traveling in a deep forest, attacked by a frightful Rakshasa. The only weapon was the Govardhan Shila he had in his pocket. He threw it at the Rakshasa, and the Rakshasa died. Out of the Rakshasa's body came a beautiful Deva. The Deva explained that he was just like a Jamil, but worse. He'd poisoned his parents, killed his wife, took all their wealth, and lived as a highwayman. He had prostitutes, wine, and was eating cows. I mean, what more could you do? He became in his next future lives, he became a snake, a pig, a camel, a buffalo, and ultimately a Rakshasa. But simply by being touched by the Govardhan Shila, he was delivered. We're going to see some slides of Kusum Sarovara. So Kusum Sarovara, of course, means he was the flower garden. And it's where the gopis ostensibly went to pick flowers for worshiping the sun god. But it's actually their rendezvous spot, their secret rendezvous spot with Krishna, because Krishna just happened to be on Govardhan Hill herding the cows and just happened to come through Kusum Sarovara, and the gopis just happened to be there picking flowers. So they would argue. There was always this transcendental banter. We'll hear some of that in a moment, between the gopis and Krishna and the cowherd boys. So Krishna said, hey, what are you doing in my garden? This is my garden. You get permission from me to pick these flowers? And they would say, no. You're just the wastrel, wayward son of Nanda Maharaj. You're the prince. You're not the king, and the king's given us permission. So they would argue back and forth. And he would say, but I'm the heir apparent of my father, Nanda Maharaj. So they would argue back and forth. And when they were arguing like this, some flowers fell on the ground from some of the bushes. And Radharani said, well, what are you going to do now? You made the flowers fall on the ground. So he said, oh, I have an idea. And we're going to have a slide of that. But there's a place there at Kusum Sarovar where he combs Radharani's hair, and he puts the flowers in her hair so they're used very nicely. So it gives you a sample of the pastimes. At the flower groves of Kusum Sarovar, Radharani and the gopis were enjoying secretly listening to Krishna and Balaram and the gopis sing as they herded the cows. Shankachuta, the demon, came there, stole the gopis, and ran away. Krishna and Balaram started to run after the demon. He left the gopis aside. Balaram stayed to protect the gopis, and Krishna went after the demon and killed him. This pastime took place at Kusum Sarovara. And when you do Parakam, you can look for this. There's a sign since the Raj time, barring hunting on Govardhan Hill. Why? In the 1850s, there was a British officer, a medical doctor, was hunting on the hill. He ignored the warnings, shot a Govardhan deer, chased after it into the bushes, but only found a sage binding his wound. Feeling badly, the doctor inquired, he sees his sage binding a wound. What happened? Oh, I caught myself on some thorns, but the officer took the sage to a British military doctor. And the doctor said, no. These wounds would only come from a gunshot wound. So the sage had been cavorting on the hill as a deer and enjoying the pastimes. But when he was shot, he reverted to his actual form as the sage. So after this, the British officer put up the sign on the hill that's still there, no hunting on this hill. So it just gives you an idea of what's going on to the transcendentalists, what they see. All right, we can start this. So we need to get the lights. Don't make Drivida get it. You guys, you're young, you get it. There, thank you. Excellent. Just as an example, Krishna is theatrical. Just before he killed, was it the Keshi demon? Storming down on him, terrifying all the sages and rishis and yogis. What did Krishna do? Ties his belt, then he kills him. So Krishna he's theatrical. With the Kaliya demon, Kaliya serpent, he appears to have passed out in the coils of the serpent. The residents in Vrindavan, especially Mother Yashoda, are just at the edge of death and anxiety. And then he breaks free. So Krishna likes to be theatrical. So he's lifting Govardhan Hill. But what hand is he using? Because usually your left hand is the weaker. And of the fingers, what finger does he use? The little finger of his left hand. Next. What's up with next? Okay, thanks. Haridas Avaryadas. This is the best of the servants of Hari. You can see all the different peaks and hills. Those are Kedranath, Badrinath, all the different holy tirthas. Everything's there on Govardhan Hill. Next. This is a Deva's view, because we don't put our feet on the hill. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would not go to the top of the hill. The Goswamis there were different leelas described in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that the Gopal deity installed by Madhavinda Puri would come down off the hill. Oh, Muslim soldiers are attacking, so they'd move him and they'd hide him in Mathura. So then all the Goswamis would go to Mathura and get darshan of. So there were different pastimes. But this is, if you're a Deva, this is a view of Govardhan Hill. Next. So Radharani, this is in Goloka, in the spiritual world. She asked Krishna, make a special place for us. Make a special place for me, for my pastimes with you. So out of Krishna's heart manifest Govardhan Hill. So Govardhan Hill is actually Krishna's manifesting from his heart a special pastime place for Srimati Radharani. Next. So here you see Krishna's gift to Srimati Radharani is Govardhan Hill. Next. So Radharani when Krishna said, okay, we're going down to the material world, it's as the time for my manifestation, 5,000 years ago. So Radharani wasn't happy to descend. So Krishna said, you come with me. She said, I'm not going. If Govardhan Hill's not there and Brajabhumi's not there, I'm not going. So this is how Govardhan Hill appeared in at the will of the desire of Radharani and Krishna. So you know the story. There was Pulasta Muni. His ashram was very beautiful, nice river, fruits, flowers, tree. But there was no hill, no mountain. It needed some contour. So he actually went to the king of the Himalayas and asked for his son. That there's a nice hill. You bring it. Let me take him down to my ashram, South India. So he didn't really want to go. Govardhan didn't really want to go. So they made, and the father didn't want to part with the son. So the father made okay, but if you put him down anywhere, wherever you put him down, he stays. So even though Pulasta Muni, just like Parikshit Maharaj, became overwhelmed by thirst and garlanded the king, the sage with the snake, actually, how could a great Rajrishi like Maharaj Parikshit become overwhelmed by thirst? But it was the pastime for the speaking of the Bhagavatam. So in a similar fashion, Pulasta Muni, as he was flying through the air, carrying Govardhan Hill to his ashram in South India, was overwhelmed by the call of nature. So he stopped in Vrindavan to answer the call of nature, pass water. And then when he was finished with his business, he went to pick up Govardhan Hill. But Govardhan Hill said that, well, I'm staying here. You cursed me. That was the arrangement. That wherever he was put down, he didn't leave. So Pulasta Muni was agitated, angry, again, all pastime and Leela, and he cursed Govardhan Hill to shrink 1 mustard seed a day. You look at the picture at the top. That's Govardhan Hill now, from the south end. So he was cursed to shrink 1 mustard seed a day. Now our Sariputta Prabhu, a man of science, I saw him in the kitchen one day here in San Diego, and he had a line of those black mustard seeds lined up, and he had a ruler. And he calculated that it's 12 mustard seeds equal approximately an inch. So then he figured if it's a mustard seed a day, and it's 5,000 years ago, so 5,000 times 365 equals so many mustard seeds, and 12, and he figured the whole thing out, that Govardhan Hill was about 5 miles high in the time of Krishna's pastimes. So you can see it's shrinking. Now the question is, how could a great devotee, Govardhan Hill, be cursed? Next slide. Thank you. So here's the question. So the internal reason, and this is from Rupa Goswami, the internal reason why Govardhan is shrinking is due to separation from Krishna. Some, and they're both true. Things could be more than one reason. Seeing the sinful activities of Kali Yuga, he didn't want to stay. So many holy places, just like the Jamunas becoming, affected by so many things, the holy tirthas are gradually disappearing as Kali Yuga progresses. So that's one reason. But the Rasika reason is Govardhan Hill is feeling separation from Krishna's pastimes, according to Rupa Goswami. Next. So this is just to give you a flavor. Kids, of course now kids are all behind computer screens and locked in, indoors. But I remember when I was a kid, when you got to go out and play, maybe you can remember that feeling. You go off and you get away from your parents, you're out on the playground, you get away from the teachers, and there's that exuberant feeling of freedom that now we can just do whatever we want. So you can picture, when Krishna's leaving, he doesn't leave Vrindavan easily. He gets a little bit away from the village. Mother Yasoda says, stop, stop, according to Jiva Goswami. And she fixes his belt. All right. Then he gets a little, stop, stop, stop. And she puts a few more things in his lunch basket. He gets a stop, stop, stop. And she puts another flower in his, finally he goes, Mata, stop. And off he goes. So he's finally He's away from the village, away from the parents, and they're just free to play on their way to Govardhan. Next. So it serves as their playground. There's actually a tree. This is described again by Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur. There's a tree with all kinds of branches. And you can climb on it, you can slide on it. There's even a branch that's wide and smooth that you can slide down and land in a beautiful kund. So it's the original water park. Everything's there on Govardhan. Everything has its pure form. Like tennis, Prabhupada said, comes from the gopis playing with balls on the roof of the palaces in Dwarka. So all the different pastimes are there in Govardhan Hill and the cowherd boys and gopis. Next. So this is just the cowherd boys stole Madhu, especially Madhu Mangal, who's very fond of sweets in particular. He likes to eat, and he's very fond of sweets. So here they've stolen his lunch basket, and they're passing to the different boys, and he's trying to get it back. So it's the original keep away, hide and seek. Next. So this is from the Bhagavatam 10:21-18. Govardhan Hill supplies all kinds of necessities: water for drinking, very soft grass, caves, fruits, flowers, and vegetables. Next. So the caves, they have a unique feature that in the wintertime they're nice and warm, and in the summertime they're nice and cool. And some of them are so big that they're just like palaces. There's actually one cave that goes all the way from one side of Govardhan all the way to the other side. The width, not the length, but the width goes across. Next. Rupa Goswami used to do his bhajan in a cave in Govardhan Hill. So you know the story. Krishna convinces, whatever Krishna wants, this is Braj Bhumi. Whatever Krishna wants, all right. I may want to do this. This may be the Vedic, sanskar. No. What does Krishna want? That's what I do. Just like Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada said the whole point of Bhagavad Gita. Mukunda Maharaj told me, Prabhupada was on a radio station, and some fanatic Christian lady called in and said, Prabhupada said he came on free passage on the Scindia shipping line. So Prabhupada was describing sannyas life. And this agitated lady on the radio show said to Prabhupada, "You're just a freeloader. You're just a freeloader." And Prabhupada was thinking, yes, I got free passage on the Scindia shipping line. So Prabhupada said, yes, I'm a freeloader. I mean, nobody admits to that. It's like saying you're on welfare, Prabhupada said, yes, I'm a freeloader. So Prabhupada said the whole point of Bhagavad Gita was to turn Arjuna from a no man to a yes man. Now we know yes man means that you have no you have no will, you have no independence. But Prabhupada took it in this way to say yes to Krishna. So Nanda Maharaj, the residents of Vrindavan, they're all yes to Krishna. So Krishna makes it just to add. You know the story. Okay, next. So the wrath of Indra. The mountains and thunderbolts are perennial enemies. The thunderbolts are always smashing mountains to pieces. But the mountains usually lose, but Govardhan wins. And Jiva Goswami says this is confirmation that devotees are always victorious by Krishna's grace. Just like the Pandavas should have lost in the battle of Kurukshetra, but they were victorious. There's so many examples. So it's a nice scene of Vrindavan. It gives you a feel of what it must have been like. Okay, next. So lifting Govardhan Hill with a little finger of his left hand, and people, how is it possible? But Krishna's floating all the planets. Do we know what planet Earth weighs? What to speak of with a population, is it 7 billion or 8 billion now? 8 billion. So who can imagine? But Krishna's floating. What's it for Krishna to lift one hill? Okay, next. So the Brajvasi's only shelter is Krishna. And here's examples. It's pouring. Okay, Krishna lifted the Govardhan Hill. That protects them from the water coming down. But like if you have an umbrella, it's compared to Krishna's pastime umbrella. Well, the water falls off the edge. So what happens? Okay, fine, Krishna protects them from above. But what happens when the water comes down the sides and pools underneath? So Seshanaga coiled around all of Braj Bhumi. and acted as a dike or a moat to hold the water back. And whatever else got through, Krishna sent his Sudarshan chakra, because you're very hot, it can evaporate the water. So there was the he was holding up the hill, he was Seshanaga, was protecting, and the Sudarshan chakra. So Krishna always protects his devotees in all ways. It's described that the gopis saw Lord Indra come, and they saw him raise his hand, but he was paralyzed. He couldn't throw his thunderbolt. He was completely paralyzed and left in shame. Next. So there was an argument. This is like when the cowherd boys, they have I don't know whatever the game is, but the loser of the game has to carry the winner on his back, and sometimes Krishna loses. And the cow, what kind of big man are you? They get on Krishna's shoulders and tell him, go left, go right. So the cowherd boys were thinking that they were holding up the hill. And when Krishna won, it was 7 days, Indra was gone, the rain had stopped. So Krishna told the cowherd boys, you move out from under the hill, because you see, well, in the other picture, they're holding with their stick. They're helping. So Krishna said, okay, you can move out. I'll put the hill back down. Gopa said, no, you move, because we're holding up the hill. You get out from under it, and then we'll put it down. So just to give them a little flavor, Krishna let them feel a little bit of the weight of Govardhan Hill. And they all got knocked over and passed out. So did they think, oh, Krishna, did they offer prayers? No. They complained. Oh, you should have given us warning. Why didn't you? They were just chastising Krishna. So it gives you a little flavor of the Braj Bhumi mood. Next. So Anayor, I was just listening to Indradumna Maharaj was explaining, how Krishna, Govardhan Hill and Krishna expands. There's that transcendental form. It's the hill personified, but also Krishna simultaneously. And he calls out Anayor. It's described that hill was about 10 times, that form was 10 times the size of the entire Govardhan Hill. And it manifests unlimited forms. It had long arms and short arms. And with his right hand, he was eating. And with his left hand, he was going like this, give me more, Anayor, give me more. So this, what's the next slide? Let me see if it says it here. Yeah, Krishna held the hill for 7 days. Now, Mother Yasoda was usually fed Krishna 8 times a day. But because he was holding Govardhan Hill and all the commotion that was going on, she wasn't able to feed him. So the Chapan Bhog, the 56 offerings, this is to make up for the 8 times 7 offerings that Mother Yasoda wasn't able to give to Krishna, so that there's 56 offerings on Annakuta, at least. This is in Hungary. Practically everything except for the rice and some of the spices are grown there at Krishna Dham, Krishna Valley, New Braj Bhumi. Next. So this is the Govardhan Hill in Vrindavan. The main part, where are we now? So this is all halava, but all these decorations are all sweets. And then all the way around the hill, all of these are every kind of sweet you can imagine. It's a wonderful, wonderful event. Next. So Indra's begging forgiveness after the point is, what did they say? Pride goes before a fall. So we have to be very careful. What is it? Shanadapi sunichena tororeva sehishana amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. So this humility, and when Krishna in Bhagavad Gita describes, what's the time? Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, when he's describing the qualities of knowledge, of wisdom, the first quality listed is humility. And Prabhupada says in the purport that humility is the key to opening all knowledge. So this is the Indra's elephant, the footprint on Govardhan Hill. Okay, next. Well, here it says, mundane pride is a great burden. It's so, because who are we? One devotee was saying to Prabhupada in Detroit, I'm the most fallen, I'm the most this, I'm the most that. Prabhupada said, actually, we're not the most anything. Sit down. So we're not even the most fallen. We're not, what are we? I mean, certainly speaking, you're all great Vaishnavas, took birth to serve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. But for me, I know what I am. And what do we have to be proud about? They say someone's very humble and much to be humble about. So it's a great burden. And we saw what happened to Indra. Next. So Govardhan Puja is a nice opportunity to meditate on becoming humble, becoming kind to the devotees, forgiving, and happy just to serve. This is the real happiness. Next. Well, this is how Govardhan Hill is seen by the... It was Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was walking. Now it's Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Bhaktisiddhanta Marg. But as in Mayapur. And as they were walking, they went past the public latrine. And everyone covered their nose, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta said, "Oh, you can't smell the Vaikuntha breezes of Mayapur?" So what do the great sages and saints? They don't see what we see. Next. Prabhupada describes that, and it used to, when I first went to Vrindavan 73, you used to see blue parrots and red parrots and green parrots. Now you just see the green parrots. If you go out to Brinda Kund, sometimes you'll see red parrots. But they used to have blue parrots and red parrots and green parrots and yellow parrots. And it's described that each of the Radharani and Krishna, they've got this drone surveillance and all this stuff, and worse. So Radharani has her own air force. And Krishna has his own air force, which is the parrots. And they're checking out and reporting back, the cowherd boys are going here, the gopis are doing this, and they would ambush each other. There's so many different things. Next. So this is just you get the mood. This is the parikram path. Next. And it's a time not for snacking and photographing the tourists, but for actual prayer and contemplation. Next. So here's some residents. These are the cows all over Vrindavan. I've told the devotees the other day, our Govardhan Shila, the appearance of our Govardhan Shila was quite blissful. And you can confirm, now he's Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj. He used to be a brahmachari here, Siddhanta Prabhu. He was Super Sid. He was the top book distributor. So the devotees here were thinking, we're new Govardhan, Giridhari, we should get a Govardhan Shila. But you don't just, order it from Amazon or Walmart or go Govardhan Hill and grab a stone. It has to be given as a gift from a Brajbasi. So I just wanted to know what the worship was, just to make sure we could do it properly. So Padmanabha Goswami, who was at the time the head of the Radharaman Mandir, he's passed away. But he was very friendly to ISKCON and very friendly to Prabhupada. And Prabhupada actually told us that we should learn from him how to do puja. So I made an appointment. We went to see him at Radharaman Temple. And I was just going to inquire, how do we get set up to do it right? I walked in, he said, "You should have Govardhan Shila." Right off the bat. So he said, "Well, okay." He said, "I will take you tomorrow." So we arranged to pick him up. I think, it was in late afternoon. We drove out there in a little ambassador taxi. He went to chanted all kinds of mantras and prayers, went up on the hill, and came back with our Govardhan Shila, our beautiful Govardhan Shila. And we had a box with nice cloth to put him in. So as soon as he put the Padmanabha Goswami put our Govardhan Shila into that box, it was myself and Siddhanta Prabhu, Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj now. All of a sudden, down the parikram path came about 50 cows, a good herd of cows. Just where did they come from? And they were surrounding us. They were surrounding the taxi. Dust, Vrindavan Renu, and from the cows was a cloud of dust was over us. And if that wasn't enough, 2 peacocks came and landed on top of the taxi. Meow, meow. They were doing their crying, and we're standing there amongst the cows while they're Govardhan Shila. Padmanabha Goswami said, "Very auspicious." So that's the appearance of our Govardhan Shila here. And here's these rare, you don't see them very often, these rare blue deer. So you got the cows, the deer, the monkeys, so many things. Next. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Govardhan Hill, in the mood of Radharani, embracing. He was just like embracing the body of Srimati Radharani. Next. The snakes on Govardhan Hill, generally speaking, there's no snakes. And anyone who worships Govardhan Hill is protected from snakes. But if there's a snake, here's how the snakes were engaged by Govardhan Hill. There was one, Radharani was fighting with Krishna, and she wouldn't let him touch her. So Krishna arranged for a poisonous snake to come crawling up the path. Radharani immediately embraced Krishna for protection. So even the snakes are engaged in devotional service on Govardhan Hill. Kusum Sarovar, we already gave some description. So next. At Kusum Sarovar, Narada Muni wanted to see the pastimes of the gopis. But no other man can enter. You have to be in the form of a gopi to enter into the Ras Leela. So Narada Muni was given the benediction. He took a dip in Kusum Sarovara and came out as a gopi and was able to witness and participate in the Ras Leela. So these are mystical places on Govardhan Hill. Next. So we mentioned this at Kusum Sarovara, when there was an argument and some of the flowers fell on the ground and Radharani chastised, now you've wasted these flowers. He said, no, we'll use them for decorating your hair. And it's also interesting to note that there's a mirror here. So while he's brushing her hair, he's also able to meditate on her beautiful face. And what is Radharani meditating on? She's meditating on his beautiful face. Prabhupada said it's reciprocal, which probably meant reciprocal. Next. So this is Manasi Ganga. This is after Krishna killed the Vatasura demon. That was an asura in the form of a calf. He said, well, you've killed a cow, a calf. We can't play with you. He said, well, what to do? They said, you have to bathe in the Ganga. So this is out of Krishna's mind, the Ganga appeared. Next. But, Krishna's tricky. So the gopis wanted confirmation that where do we know? It's enough that a kund, and Manasi Ganga is a big lake, that it manifests automatically. Well, they wanted confirmation. So Mother Ganga came out of the kund and manifested herself and then turned back into water and went back into the kund. Next. Rupa Goswami. The Goswamis used to meet at Radha Damodar, Prabhupada said, and they would edit each other's books, like Gopal Bhatta Goswami edited the Hari Bhakti Vilas by Sanatana Goswami. He also edited the Sat Sandarbha by Jiva Goswami. So they would edit each other's books and offer comments. So Rupa Goswami, I've forgotten which book, Rupa Goswami used the analogy that Radharani's braid is like a black snake. Down her back, black snake. So Sanatana Goswami didn't like that. He thought, she's a delicate, beautiful young girl, and you've got a black snake climbing up her back. This is rasbasa. So Rupa Goswami took it out, hearing from his older brother, and he took it out. Later on, there's we went there. You were with me? Yeah, we went to Sanatana Goswami's. He has a bhajan kutir there on the edge of Manasi Ganga. So he was in his meditation. And on the other side of the kund, this is from Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur narrates, he saw some beautiful young village girls came and were bathing. And at the center of them, there was obviously the head of the group. And when they dipped and came out, he saw a black snake coming up her back. So Sanatana Goswami, snake! The center girl with the so-called snake looked over his back and laughed and was gone. Turns out, so it was Radharani. She liked the analogy. She's saying, no, I like that analogy. So Sanatana Goswami went back to Rupa Goswami and said, put it back in. She likes it. So these things are going on. Next. So you know this pastime. Just the short version is Krishna wants to, the gopis are going across Manasaganga. They're going to go into town and sell their milk sweets and yogurt and ghee, things like that. But somehow or other, the only boatman is an old boatman and with a rickety boat. So he's charging too much, and they haggle, but he's the only boat. So they get in the boat. Then he gets in the boat, and he rows halfway out. They have had them do this with taxis. You're going from the airport to Mayapur. They'll take you halfway and then stop, change the price, say there's luggage charge, whatever it is. Oh, we need money for gas. But you just got gas. I mean, they do so many scams. So the pure form of this is that Krishna says to the gopis, oh, I'm too tired. I can't row any further. I need some strength. They say, well, that's not our problem. It's your, no. So what to do? So he started eating their milk sweets, drinking their yogurt. So he started rowing again. Then it started to rain. The boat started to leak. He said, oh, my boat's not going to make it. We need some ballast. You got to throw some stuff off. So they got him to throw their milk sweets off. Then he said, well, you're going to have to throw your bangles off. You better throw your clothes off. At that point, the gopis said, we're going to throw you off. That'll solve the problem, But afterwards, so then a storm came. And it's stormy and rocking, and the boat's sinking. You can imagine the scene. So Radharani, when the boat was really rocking, she grabbed onto the boatman. But when she grabbed onto the boatman, anyone know what she experienced? She felt his flute. He had his flute in his waist, this guy, and she said, wait a minute. So then everything's calmed down. The boat became very beautiful, lotus boat. There it is. So next. So that we already told. Next. So here they're throwing everything out. Next. And then smooth sailing and sweet. Next. So the gopis, there's the Haridev temple. We've got a picture of it too. The gopis, when they were waiting for Krishna, is he coming, is he not coming? They were in such anxiety, pains of separation. They were calling out, Hari, Hari. So this is the deity of Krishna, Haridev, which is Krishna appeared as this deity. It's the personification of the prayers of separation from the gopis. Next. So this is it's a long rectangle. It's actually quite a large temple. It was built by Raj Bhagwan Singh, the father of Raj Man Singh. They were the kings of Jaipur at the time. Man Singh became a disciple of Raghunath Bhatta Goswami and funded and had his army build the Govindadev temple. You've seen the huge Govindadev temple. So that was built by Man Singh. He funded it, and his army, he was Akbar's general, prime general. So anyway, they built it. But his father built the Haridev temple. And you can read about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visiting this temple in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Next. So just for ISKCON flavor, this is the temple of Maharaj Bharatpur, the king of Bharatpur. Many of the noble sages, the kings of Maharajas, they all had their different little kingdoms, some big kingdoms. Many of them would build places for themselves in Vrindavan, and they would go, just like you have a summer house or a house by the lake or a house by the sea, they would build little and sometimes big palaces in Vrindavan and go there and live a simple life and practice some austerities in Vrindavan. So this was the Maharaja Bharatpur built this, and I saw it when they purchased it. Giriraj Maharaj and Tamal Krishna Maharaj, it literally had no roof. It was a pile of bricks, literally a pile of bricks. And it was lovingly restored, funded by Giriraj Maharaj and Tamal Krishna Maharaj, so that the ISKCON would have a place it's right on the Parikram path. It's beautiful. Next. And when they were doing the construction, they found a rare Balaram Shila. Balaram Shila is a lighter color. Usually the Shilas are darker color. So they found both a Balaram and a Krishna Shila. Okay, next. That we described, how they would rendezvous with the parrots as the surveillance, what is the word I'm looking for? A drone system. And they would ambush each other. Sometimes the gopis, Krishna would say, I'm the tax key. You know, there'd be a narrow passage. You can block an army. It's a long story. You can block an army if you have a thin valley. You're up on the hills, you're at the end, you can't get through. So Krishna would block the path and say that on behalf of Nanda Maharaj, I'm charging a tax. He said, no, you're a thief. Nanda Maharaj would never put you in charge of tax collection. So they would argue back and forth. And then they had a scale. This scale is constructed at one of the places where he would block them and charge them it. But sometimes the gopis would ambush them and tie up the cowherd boys and require a ransom to get them back. So it was a two-way street, you know. Next. So this is where Krishna used to block the gopis and steal their butter, steal their clothing, steal everyone's heart. Next. This is the original Srinathji. This is the Gopal Raj. This is, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, the deity that originally installed by Krishna's great-grandson, Brajnabha, but then rediscovered, revealed to Madhavendra Puri, and then installed in whatever it was, about 600 years ago. And you can read that pastime in Chaitanya Charitamrita. But here's that temple on the top of the hill. Now, because of Aurangzeb, the deity was taken to Nathdwara. It's a whole story. And that's in Rajasthan. So he's worshipped there because there was a very strong Rajasthani king, the king of Jaipur and Udaipur. So the deity was protected there. But this is the original temple on the top of the hill of the Gopal Raj, Srinathji. Next. So we were describing, but this is Madhavendra Puri reinstalling Sri Gopal, Srinathji. Next. This is where Madhavendra Puri, I've got to fix the A there, where Madhavendra Puri found Sri Gopal. That's where he first manifested. And you see, he's lifting Govardhan Hill. Srinathji's lifting Govardhan Hill. Next. So this is where Uddhava delivered Krishna's message to the gopis. Next. Oh, what time is it? Oh, I thought we had till 8:45. You're going to give us a few minutes. Give us a few, as long as the schedule's off. We can wait a few more minutes. Next. We'll wrap it up quickly. This is Radhakund Shamakund. These are Govardhan is considered to be a peacock, and the two eyes are Radhakund and Shamakund. Next. Well, maybe because you know this story. Let's just keep going. You can just look at the pictures. Next. So this is from the Upadeshamrita. Of many of the objects favored delight, and of all lovable damsels of Brajbhumi, Srimati Radharani is certainly the most treasured object of Krishna's love. And in every respect, her divine Kund, described by the great sages, is as similarly dear to him. Next. You can just go next, because the devotees know this. Next. Next. Because I just want to get to the Chaitanya Charitamrita was written there at Krishna, at the Hare Krishna. Next. 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 Of course, this is where Prabhupada, if you ever get money print books, even though they're there at Radhakund, was Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, giving Prabhupada his Siddha Pranali, and no. He was telling, if you get money print books, preach. Go to the West, preach. That's the real mood of a Radharani and Radhakund Bhakta. Next. Okay, next. Okay, we'll end here. People are always looking for blessings or keys, secrets to advancement. So what can we learn from Govardhan Hill? According to Jiva Goswami, what is that secret to advancement? Next. The mood of pure, unmotivated devotion as shown by the Brajbasis. Christians, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend anybody, but when the Christians say, give us this day our daily bread, Prabhupada said, okay, they're recognizing the right source, but it's not really love of God, it's love of bread. But just wait, what are the gopis, what is Mother Yasoda thinking? Is she praying to bread? She's thinking, if I don't feed Krishna, oh, Krishna will become sick, Krishna will become weak. So she's not worrying about being fed, she's worrying about feeding Krishna. So that's one of the mood of what pure unmotivated devotion shown by the Brajbasis. Next. Service to the Lord and to the devotees as exemplified by Govardhan Hill. So what are the two keys, according to Jiva Goswami, we can learn from Govardhan Hill? What is one? Unmotivated, pure service to Krishna. And what is second unto it? Serve the Vaishnavas. Okay, next. We're done. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Govardhan Hill. Hare Krishna. Hey Govinda.